All right. So when we first start, um,
And I'm followed by my paper, but I'm listening to you.
okay.
I'm thinking about listening.
So when we first start, okay, I'm gonna approach my truck and I'm gonna look under for any water puddles, oil leaks, and also I'm gonna check my tires and make sure that my truck is not leaning from one side to another, which could mean suspension problem or one tire the tires are low. Okay, after you check your you know coolant reservoir leaks, no water leaks, no oil leaks in there, and your tire and suspension, then you come up to your clearance light. So I'm gonna check. You gotta say I'm going to check. You gotta let them know that that's what you're doing. You're checking.
Okay.
So I'm going to check my five clearance light. They're amber in color, not damaged, being cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, and clean. Um, and I'm gonna check my windshield, not damaged, being cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, no illegal stickers. I'm gonna check my rubber gasket around my windshield. Make sure it's properly mounted, secure, no dry rotted, not being cracked or broken, properly mounted, and secure. I'm gonna check my windshield wipers, make sure they got proper tension towards the windshield. Um, Make sure they're working, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. The rubber on the windshield is not worn or torn or cut. Okay, then I'm gonna come down to my headlights and make sure my headlights are clear in color, clean, properly mounted, secure, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. Check my turning signal is amber in color, not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. All hardware nuts and bolts in place. You gotta let them know, the hardware, everything that has hardware and bolts,
Okay.
screws, let them know. Check my convex mirrors. On my convex mirrors, I'm gonna check my convex mirrors brackets or mounts. Make sure they're properly mounted, secure, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. And my convex mirror itself is clean, not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. Okay, after you're done with that, I know you say about the tag. Okay, so as soon as you finish with your the front of the truck, that's the whole front, then you're gonna come on your left side and you're gonna talk about your exhaust. Okay, so I'm gonna check my exhaust um, from the top of the stack to the bottom of the stack. Make sure that it's not damaged, being cracked or broken, properly mounted and secure, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. I'll make sure that there is no excessive soot, any holes which will indicate exhaust leak, or excessive soot which will indicate exhaust leak. And I'm gonna check as far as I can see under the cap. All right, then I'm gonna check the brackets that are holding the exhaust stack. Make sure they're properly mounted, secure, not being cracked or broken, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. That's something you're gonna repeat a lot. Or hardware nuts and bolts in place, properly mounted, secure. Okay, so then when you go with that part of the exhaust, okay, I'm gonna check my fuel tank. On my fuel tank, I'm gonna make sure it's properly mounted, secure, no damage, been cracked or broken, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. I make sure that my fuel tank is secure with straps, rubber straps around the track, around the tank, that will prevent metal to metal friction, which could provoke fuel leak. I'm gonna check my gasket, open my lid, and make sure my rubber gasket is not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, not damaged. Um, Make sure I check my hoses coming out of my fuel tank. Make sure they're properly mounted, secure, not damaged, been cracked or broken, or frayed. Um, and if it has two, make sure remember if it has two tanks, let me check that other tank just like I checked this one. But you're talking about it from the left side of the truck, from the passenger side. Okay, so then when you're done with that, then to the exhaust stack and the fuel tank, you're gonna come up and open the hood. The first thing you're gonna do when you open the hood, you're going to finish checking your exhaust stack. So I'm gonna finish checking my exhaust stack, make sure all hardware nuts and bolts in place, make sure it's not damaged, been cracked or broken, all hardware in place, make sure it's not um, excessive soot, which will indicate exhaust leak. Alright, then when I'm done with my saw stack, I'm coming from the back. So finish the saw stack, I'm gonna hop on the top. Start from the top, which over there is gonna be my coolant reservoir. So I'm gonna check my coolant reservoir, make sure it's not damaged, being cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. Make sure it's between the add and the full. Make sure that it's not leaking. I'm gonna check the cap in it. You know, if it's not hot, the truck ain't being cranked off. I'm gonna check the cap, make sure it's properly mounted secure. Make sure it's not leaks around the cap. Then I'm gonna check the hoses coming out of my coolant reservoir. Make sure they're not damaged, being cracked or broken. Make sure all the hardware is in place. Um, all nuts and bolts, they're not missing. Okay, then I'm gonna follow the hoses coming my coolant reservoir down to my water pump, and I'm gonna make sure my water pump properly mounted, secure, not damaged, been cracked or broken. It's not leaking any coolant. You gotta make sure you say what's in it, and make sure to say your water pump is either gear driven or belt driven. Alright, then when you're done with your water pump, then you're coming to the outside. Usually on this side is gonna be your alternator. Not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. All hardware nuts and bolts in place. Um, Make sure your belt has no more than half to 3/4 inch of play, and your alternator. Make sure the wires connected to the back of your alternator properly in place. All nuts and bolts are there. All right, and remind them that it's belt driven. All right, then come around to the other side of the truck in the front, and over here, I like to do it from the inside to the outside. So, depending on what truck you're using, usually on the inside, you're gonna find the first thing your air compressor. That's one thing I didn't hear. So, your air compressor, my air compressor properly mounted, secure, not damaged, been cracked or broken. All hardware nuts and bolts in place. My hose coming out of my air compressor is not frayed, damaged, broke, or cracked. My air compressor is not leaking any air. Make sure you detail about that. All right, then I'm coming to the outside. My next step is gonna be frame. So I'm gonna check my frame in the front, make sure it's properly mounted, secure, no illegal welds, um, not damaged, been cracked or broken. All right, then after that, I'm gonna come a little bit more to the outside, and that's gonna take me to my steering linkage. So the first thing on my steering linkage is gonna be my drive shaft. Well, before that, you can do your oil. You know, I'm gonna check my oil. The way I'm gonna check it, I'm gonna get it out, wipe it off, re-stick it, and get out. Make sure it's in between the add and the full. And I'm gonna check my steering linkage, my drive shaft. Make sure it's properly mounted, secure. It's not excessive play on my drive shaft. When you come down from your drive shaft, it's gonna be that drive U joint. Make sure it's properly greased, all hardware nuts and bolts in place. Then after you come to that drive shaft U joint, it's gonna take you to your gearbox, steering gearbox. Make sure it's properly mounted, secure, hardware nuts and bolts in place. It's not leaking any fluid. The hoses coming out of the steering gearbox, they're not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, and they're gonna take you to your pump. What's the name? Let me see.
Power steering.
Yeah, your power steering pump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then now that you're talking about it, you got it right there. My power steering pump, no damage, been cracked or broken, permanent secure, all hardware nuts and bolts in place. Make sure it's not leaking any power steering, and it's gear driven. Okay, so you already knocked out your steering gearbox, which is right there. So under your steering gearbox, we're still on the steering linkage, which is the whole thing. So now we're going to the pavement arm. So I check my pavement arm, not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. All hardware nuts and bolts in place, and it's secure with a castle nut and the cotter key, and the bushing in between there is not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly greased. It's not excessively worn. And the next piece is gonna be my drag link. It's not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, hardware nuts and bolts in place, and that's gonna take you back to my upper and lower steering arm properly mounted secure, no damage been cracked or broken, hardware nuts and bolts in place. Um, and finally, it's going well, you're gonna check your castle nut and cotter key connected over there, bushing, and it's gonna take you finally to your tie rod, which is the last part of that steering linkage. No damage been cracked or broken, properly mounted secure, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. Alright, so I'm finished with my steering linkage. I did the oil, I did my pumps, I did my air compressor, I did my frame, I did what else in there? Let's see. Oh, your power steering reservoir. Make sure it's not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted secure, not leaking. I'm gonna check my power steering reservoir the same way I check my oil. Okay, so then after I'm done with all that, then okay, I'm gonna pick another side. So I'm gonna start with my suspension. Okay,
Oh, go ahead.
my suspension. I'm gonna start with my leaf spring. Okay, my leaf spring, they're not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted secure. Um, I'm gonna check my leaf spring mounts, the front and rear. Make sure they're properly mounted secure, hardware nuts and bolts in place. Make sure my leaf spring they have not shifted, they're not missing. My U-bolts, they properly mounted secure or hardware nuts and bolts in place, not damaged, been cracked or broken. And also make sure that my U-bolts are not shifted because they could shift with the leaf
Okay.
spring. Okay, so my second part to the suspension in the front is going to be my shock absorber. Make sure, check my shock absorber. The mounts on the shock absorber instead of front and rear is top and bottom because they're vertical. Um, Make sure I check my shock absorber. No damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted secure. It's not leaking any fluid. It's hydraulic fluid. Um, Properly mounted secure. Hardware nuts and bolts in place. Alright, so I'm done with suspension in the front. So after that, I'm coming to check my, okay, I did suspension. So I'm gonna do brakes. On my brakes, I'm gonna check, the first thing I'm gonna check on my brakes is my brake hose or brake line. I'm gonna make sure it's properly mounted secure, no damage, cut, broken, or cracked. The fittings, make sure you mention the fittings on my brake hose. It's not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted secure. It connects to my brake chamber. Oh, my brake hose is not leaking any air. Connects to my brake chamber. My brake chamber is not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted secure. Not damaged, dented. Gotta say dented. Um, it's not leaking any air. All hardware nuts and bolts in place. The clamps around my brake chamber, they're properly mounted secure. No damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted secure. All hardware nuts and bolts in place. Okay, after my brake chamber, it's gonna take me down to my um, push rod and
Slack adjustment.
yeah, slack adjuster and push rod. Make sure my slack adjuster and push rod they're in place, no damage, been cracked or broken, or hardware nuts and bolts and pins, because there's a pin in there. Not damaged, been cracked or broken, they're present. And with my tires shocked and my brakes released, I'm gonna check my slack adjuster and push rod, and it should have no more than 1 inch of play. Okay, from that, you're gonna come down to your inside of your tire, which is brake still. So you're gonna check your brake drum. Make sure my brake drum is not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted secure, and it has no signs of oil or grease in them. After my brake drums, then I'm gonna go to my brake pad or brake lining. Make sure it's not damaged, been cracked or broken, no signs of oil or grease, and it's not dangerously worn thing to less than a quarter um, inch. Okay, so that's everything for suspension and brakes. Alright, so now I can go to my tire. Alright, so I'm gonna check my tire, make sure my tire is not damaged, been cracked or broken, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts. Make sure that it's evenly worn across. The tread depth is not less than 4/32 of an inch. Um, let's see. Make sure that it's got properly air in it. It's got proper spacing around the tire to maneuver around. Um, I'm check the bead on my rim, on my tire. The tire's properly beaded to the rim. No leaks, no rust trails, which will indicate air leak. All right, then Let's see. I'm gonna go to my rim. No damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. No illegal welds on my rim. Um, I'm gonna check my lug nuts. They're all present. No damage, been cracked or broken. They're not loose. Ain't no sign of rust trails or shiny spots, which will indicate looseness in them. Uh, my valve stem is present. No damage, been cracked or broken. Not leaking any air with a valve stem cap in it. I'll use an air gauge set to the spec of the manufacturer to check my air. My hobo seal, um, properly mounted, secure, no damage, been cracked or broken. Is the O is between the add and the full mark. No however nuts and bolts in place. Um, Not damaged, been cracked or broken. Is that all for the tire?
That is it.
Alright, so then after I finish my tire, I'm gonna come to my side door on my driver. So I'm gonna check first. I'm gonna check my mirror bracket. Make sure my mirror bracket is present, no damage, been cracked or broken, no harbor nuts and bolts in place. Um, Check my mirror itself. Make sure it's clean, no damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, and ready to use. Then I'm gonna check my door. Make sure it opens and shuts. Make sure it locks and unlock. And I'm gonna lift up on my door. Make sure my hinges they properly mounted, secure. They're not damaged. Um, they work. They work properly. Okay, then I'm gonna open the door and I'm gonna check the seal around the door. That weather seal. Make sure it's not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. Also, it's gonna be a turning signal, turning light over there, not damaged, been cracked or broken, amber in color, properly mounted and secure. When I open my door right there, I'm gonna check that I have a ABC fire extinguisher fully charged with the pin in place. No damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted and secure, and it's an ABC fire extinguisher. Go back here, check I got my triangles, 3 reflector triangles that I would put out if I'm stopped on the side of the road for more than 10 minutes. And also, I'm gonna check that I make sure that I have a fuse for every amperage of the truck. Okay, then I'm gonna come over here, check my steps, make sure there's no debris, all hardware nuts and bolts in place, no damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. Check my catwalk, make sure nothing riding on the catwalk, properly mounted, secure, no damage, been cracked or broken. No hardware nuts and bolts in place, no debris on the catwalk. Okay, then after I check my catwalk, I'm gonna check my drive shaft. It's gonna be back there. Make sure my drive shaft is connected in the front and rear. Make sure it's nothing wrapped around my drive shaft. Make sure the U-joints on the drive shaft are properly greased and all hardware nuts and bolts in place, properly mounted, secure. Alright, and after I check that, I'm gonna check my frame back here, make sure there's no illegal welds. My cross member, make sure they're properly out there in place, no illegal welds. No damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. I'm gonna check the rear of my cap. Make sure that check for my DOT stickers. They are present. No damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. And bless you.
Thank you. Excuse me.
Yes. DOT reflectors. They're present. No damage, properly mounted, secure. Not peeling. Okay, and sometimes you have that service lights over here. They're clear in color. Okay, then I'm gonna check over here. So after I finish this side with the drive shaft, everything, well, you can check your air hose and emergency line. Make sure they're properly mounted, secure. Make sure they're properly hanging off the catwalk. They're not dragging, which could cause a tear in it, and they can leak. You ask them, hey, I'm gonna check my glad hands. Do you want me to take them off, or just talk about it? Okay, I'm gonna check my glad hands. Make sure my rubber seal inside there, no debris in it, no damage, or it's not broke, no leaks on my glad hands, and my electrical line either. Then I'm gonna forget about all this. This is the trailer, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna focus on the tractor part. Forget the trailer, focus on the tractor. So to focus on the tractor, you either then you say, what am I gonna do? Am I check the tires? Am I gonna check the fifth wheel, or suspension and brakes?
Fifth wheel.
Well, yeah, let's start with the fifth wheel, from the top to bottom. So
Okay.
my fifth wheel, a skid plate, is properly coupled with my trailer apron. There's no daylight in between my fifth wheel and my skid plate. Skid plate is properly greased, not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. Um, that little airline, the actuator that goes to the fifth wheel, not leaking, not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. Um, then from the fifth skid plate, you come down to your platform. The platform, no damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, hardware nuts and bolts in place. Um, from the platform over there, you're gonna have your release arm also. It's in the lock position, properly mounted, secure, no damage, been cracked or broken. With the safety latch on, if it has one. Okay, then after that, you come down. You're gonna have your mounting bolts. They're all present, no damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. Then you're gonna have your fifth wheel, sliding fifth wheel locking pins, which is what makes these go back and forth, slide this back and forth. There's sliding fifth wheel locking pins. They are all present, no damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. Um, then you're gonna get under the trailer, and from the back, you gotta see your kingpin, which come from the trailer. That is between it's in the fifth wheel connected, and it's right.
To the lock and jaw.
Yeah, the locking yaw is wrapped around the shank of the kingpin. Locking yaws are present, properly mounted, secure. That little part that looks like this, like a downhill on the fifth wheel, that goes like this. Sometimes they call that apron also.
Okay. It look like a little V. That's where it goes in between there.
Right, the little bending part.
Mhm.
And so when you ride under there, you're gonna check your rear lights on your tractor. Make sure they're properly mounted and secure. They're working, red in color. Your backup lights also. Then you have your mud flaps. Make sure mud flaps they're covering 3/4 of the tire. Um, Properly mounted and secure. Also inside over here, you're gonna have torque on and bushing. Make sure it's present, no damage, been cracked or broken. Properly mounted, secure. Okay, so we're done with the fifth wheel. So we're gonna go to the next part in order. Let's say suspension. Suspension. I'm gonna start with leaf spring. My leaf spring, they're present, no damage, properly mounted, secure. I'm gonna check my leaf spring mount, front and rear. Make sure they're not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. Um, my leaf spring itself, they're not missing, they're not shifted. My U-bolts, they're present, no damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. They're not missing, they're not shifted either, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. Then I'm gonna check my airbags, they're properly mounted, secure, no damage, been cracked or broken. The mounts, top and bottom, they're properly mounted, secure, hardware nuts and bolts in place. Now I'm gonna check my choke absorber back here. Check the mounts, top and bottom, properly mounted, secure, not damaged, been cracked or broken. They're not leaking any fluid. Um, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. Okay, so that's it for suspension. Okay, so I'm done with fifth wheel suspension. Now I'm gonna do brakes. Same thing we did right here. Brake hose, no damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. Brake hose fittings, they are present, no damage, been cracked, and it's not leaking any air. Brake hose goes to the brake chamber, not dented, no damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, not leaking any air. Brake chamber clamps, properly mounted, secure, no damage, been cracked or broken, or how it nuts and bolts in place, properly secure and mounted. And from the brake chamber it goes down also here with your tie rod and push slack adjuster and push rods. Slack adjuster and push rods and pins and present. No damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, hardware nuts and bolts in place, tire shot, wheel release, should have no more than an inch of play. Then after you do that, it's gonna come to the inside to your brake drums, no signs of oil or grease in them, no damage, been cracked or broken. And then to your brake pads, no damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, no signs of oil or grease, and make sure it's not dangerously worn. thing to less than a quarter inch. Um, okay, so that's it for brakes. So tires. So you're gonna pick a set of tires. Pick the front, pick the rear. Let's pick the front. I'm gonna check my tires. Same way I check this one. It's gonna be. Um, I'm gonna check my tire itself. Make sure it's not got no damage, bulges, cuts, or abrasion. Properly mounted, secure. Make sure it's got no less than 2/32 thread depth. Make sure it's evenly worn across. Um, I'm gonna make sure that my tire it got butt space. It's nothing in between my butt tires. No debris, trash. I see my butt rims. They no illegal wells, no daylight in between my butt rings. Properly mounted, secure. Um, Everything in place. My butt tires. Um, what else on my tires? I'm gonna make sure on both tires that they're beaded to the rim properly. Now, signs of rust trails, which will indicate air leaks. Um, then I'm gonna go down to my rims. I'm gonna check both rims. Make sure you're talking about both. Um, make sure that it's no illegal wells, not damaged, bent, cracked, or broken, properly mounted, secure, and make sure all my lug nuts are present. Um, Make sure there's no rust trails or shiny spot on my lug nuts, which will indicate looseness, properly mounted, secure. Okay, then I'm gonna check my drive axle seal, hobo seal, drive axle seal, hobo seal. So I'm gonna check my drive axle seal, make sure it's not leaking, no damage been cracked or broken. It's between add and full, or hardware nuts and bolts are in place. Okay, then when you check your tire, then I'm gonna check this set of tires, brakes, and suspension the same way I check this set of tires, brakes, and suspension. Then you ain't gotta do that. Okay, then move on to your trailer. Check my header board. Make sure it's not damaged, been cracked or broken. My ABS light is present. My clearance light, not damaged, been cracked or broken. Properly mounted, secure. I'm gonna check my rivets. Make sure they're not missing. My DOT tape. Make sure they're present. No damage, been cracked or broken. Properly mounted, secure. As I walk along my trailer, I'm gonna be checking my rivets, DOT trailer, and I'm DOT tape, and my clearance lights. Make sure they're all present. No damage, been cracked or broken. I'm gonna check my landing gear. Make sure my landing gear brackets they're present. No damage, been cracked or broken. Properly mounted, secure. Or how nuts and bolts in place. My landing gear feet, they're not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. My landing gear legs, they're properly mounted, secure, or however nuts and bolts in place. They're fully raised, and um, my landing gear arm or crank handle is not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, or however nuts and bolts in place, and it's properly resting in its cradle. Also, I'm gonna make sure that my landing gear have proper clearance from my fifth wheel so I can make my turn without hitting my landing gear. As I keep walking down my trailer, I'm gonna be checking my trailer frame and railing under the trailer, my floor. Make sure that my frame has no illegal welds on that, and cross members that have no illegal welds, and there's no holes in the floor. And as I get back to the back of my truck, I'm gonna keep checking for my clearance light, rivets, and DOT tape. And when I get to my sliding tandems, so my sliding tandems that not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. Um, the locking pin is in place, and release arm also is in the proper position, no damage. In the lock position, no damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. Um, Sliding tendons, release arm, railing, all that. Okay, then in the back, after you do your sliding tandems, then what you gonna do? Either brake, suspension, or tires. Same thing. We're gonna repeat. Okay, so I'm gonna check my brakes. Check my brake hose, not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. I'm gonna check my My brake hose fittings, make sure they're properly in place, no damage, been cracked or broken. I'll have nuts and bolts in place. It's just not leaking any air. My brake hose is gonna take me to my brake chamber. No damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. I'll have nuts and bolts in place. Brake chamber clamps. My brake chamber is not dented, damaged. My brake chamber clamps, they're properly mounted, secure, no damage, been cracked or broken. That's gonna take me to my slack adjuster push rod, no damage, been cracked or broken. Ohio nuts and bolts in place. Should have no more than an inch of play. My push rods and slack adjusters. From there, it's gonna take me to my drums, and no signs of oil or grease in the brake drums. Properly mounted, secure, no crack, bend, or broken. Then it's gonna take me to my brake pads or brake lining, not dangerously worn to less than a quarter inch, and no signs of oil or grease in them. So it just repeats itself. Brake hose, brake chamber, slack adjusted push rod, brake drums, brake pad.
Boom.
Alright, so suspension in the back, airbags, no damage, been cracked or broken. Mounts, properly mounted, secure, hardware nuts and bolts in place. If it has, sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. If it has leaf spring, talk about the leaf springs and like we did here, not shifted, no damage, been cracked or broken. U-bolts, front and rear mounts of the leaf spring, present. And then sometimes it will, and sometimes it won't have shock absorber. If it does, talk about mount, top and bottom, not leaking any fluid, properly mounted, secure, hardware nuts and bolts in place. Okay, so when we get to the rear right here, it's gonna be your door tie, no damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. You're gonna have a little red marker light over here, no damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. Alright, so when we get to the rear of the trailer, okay, so we're gonna check our trailer lights, turn signal for wet flashers, running lights, brake lights. Make sure they're not damaged, been cracked or broken, red in color, properly mounted, secure, clearance light, running lights, not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, or hardware nuts and bolts in place. I'm gonna check my DOT tapes, make sure they're not damaged, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. Or hardware nuts and bolts in place. Check my doors and door hinges, open them, make sure they're properly secure, no damage, been cracked or broken. They work fine. Your door tie, little chain, that it works and it's good for your doors to stay open. When you open your trailer inside, make sure there's no debris, your floor has no holes, and everything working all right. Your DOT bumper, no damage, been cracked or broken, proper mounted, secure, hardware nuts and bolts in place, proper mounted, secure. Let's see, what else in the back? Is that it?
That's it.
Then
The clearance light.
right, and then you'll ask your tester to assist you when you get in the truck into checking the lights, and when you finish in the back, you're gonna say, and I'm gonna check this side of the tractor and trailer the same way that I check this side of the tractor and trailer, and it's gonna cover everything. All right, so then when we go in the inside to do the end cap, okay, so I'm walking to the end cap, get in the truck. As I get in the truck, I'm checking my fire extinguisher is ABC. It's fully charged with a pin in place, no damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure. I'm gonna check my triangles that I have them. I put them on the side of the road if I stop for more than 10 minutes. And I'm gonna check that I have a fuse for every amperage of the truck. That's your 3 safety items, first thing. Okay, then I'm gonna check the floor, make sure that it's nothing that can roll under my pedal, prevent me from braking or accelerating. I'm gonna check my seat belt, first thing. Make sure it locks and unlocks. Make sure it's not cut, damaged, or frayed. It works properly. And I'm gonna check my seatbelt mounts on both sides. Okay, I already checked my floor. When I get inside, I'm gonna check my windshield, make sure I can see properly, no illegal sticker. Check my convex mirrors in the front, no damage, been cracked or broken, properly mounted, secure, and I can see all the way in the truck. Check my side mirrors, make sure I can see all the way back of my trailer on both sides. Make sure they're good. Check my windshield wipers, make sure they're good. Proper operation condition. Make sure I have nothing on my dashboard that can obstruct my view. Um, then after I check all that, I'm proceed to do my safety start. Okay, when I'm gonna do my safety start, listen, because I'm gonna give you the detail like you don't know me. Okay, when I'm gonna do my safety start, um, I'm gonna engage the clutch, make sure my truck is in neutral, and I'm gonna switch my truck on. I'm gonna look for my ABS light, make sure that it comes on and go off. If it stay on, then it means that it had trouble, so we have to fix it before we go on the road. Um, then I'm gonna proceed to crank my truck on, and still with my clutch engaged. I'm gonna make sure again that I'm in neutral, and then I'm gonna release my clutch. All right, when I release my clutch, I'm in neutral. I'm gonna check for my gauges. So um, I'm gonna check on my water gauge, make sure it's rising to normal operating condition, and not going to the red, which indicate overheating. I'm gonna check my oil gauge, make sure that it's rising up to normal operating condition. Um, I'm gonna check my voltage in my truck, which should be between 12 and 14, which will indicate that my alternator is charging the battery. I'm gonna check my air tanks, make sure they fill up to between 20 and 40 psi, 45 psi, and that's the governor cutoff. Okay, and I'm gonna make sure on my fuel that I have enough fuel for my trip. All right, so after I check that, if the truck have a DEF tank, you check your DEF gauge. I'm gonna check my lights. I'm gonna check my left turn signal, right turn signal, low beam, high beams, four-way flashers. Make sure they're all working properly. Um, Check my city horn and highway horn. I'm gonna check my defrost and heater. I'm gonna then check my windshield wipers and make sure they are working. They got fluids in it. All right, and let's see what else. That's it, right? All right. So after that, I'm gonna go ahead and proceed to do my first test, which is gonna be my parking test or tug test. To do my parking test or tug test, the first thing I'm gonna check is that I have my air tanks are raised up between 20 and 40 psi, and then I'm gonna engage my clutch, put my truck on low or first gear, and I'm gonna release my yellow button, which is my tractor, and I'm gonna leave my trailer on to check the brakes on my trailer. Alright, so I'm gonna let off the clutch easily. We're gonna feel a little tug. Okay, it's working. Then I'm gonna bring back out my yellow knob, and I'm gonna push my red one, which is my trailer. It's gonna release the brakes, and it's gonna leave brakes on my tractor, and so I can check for the brake. Okay, I'm gonna tug on the tractor. Okay, it works. Alright, put my brake back on, put it in neutral, release my clutch, and that's it for my tug test or parking brake test. Alright, my second test is gonna be my service brake test. To do my service brake test, would you like me to tell you about it, or
Yes.
would you want me to demonstrate?
You just tell me.
Okay, so to do my service brake test, what I would do, I would drive down the road about 5 miles an hour with a loose grip on my steering wheel, and I'm gonna press on my service brake and make sure that it don't turn left or right, indicating that it need adjustment, and make sure that it completely stops the vehicle. All right, and so for my third and last test, I'm gonna make sure that I build up my air all the way to 120, between 120 and 140 for my governor cutoff, and it's gonna be my air brake test. For my air brake test, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, build my air, and I'm gonna put my truck in first gear or low gear. I'm gonna switch my truck off then switch it back on, but not crank it. The, press both of my valves, and all right. So to start this test, what I'm gonna do, my first part to the it's three parts to the air brake test. The first one, I'm going to press my brake for 1 minute and make sure that it don't lose more than 4 psi in a minute. Do you mind timing me?
No,
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stay. All right, okay, he'll say okay. All right, good. All right, for the second part of this test, I'm gonna fan my brakes down to around 60 psi, in which I should get an indicator or buzzer indicating that my air pressure is getting low. All right, came on. That there is my indicator lights and telling me that my air brake's getting low. And for the third and last part, I'm gonna keep fanning my brakes down to between 20 and 45 psi, and at that moment my valves should pop out. I'm gonna stay looking at my valves to make sure they pop out. Alright, it came on. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and press my clutch, put my truck on neutral, switch my truck off, and that will conclude my in-cab